You've probably tasted a dish that felt flat. Not bad, not undercooked, just missing something. And then, one small addition changed everything. A squeeze of lemon, a splash of vinegar, a hint of something sharp, and suddenly, the entire dish came alive. This is where most people underestimate cooking, because flavor is not just about salt, or sweetness, or spice. It's about balance, and acid is what creates that balance. Acid doesn't just add taste. It transforms everything around it. It brightens, it sharpens, it makes other flavors more noticeable. And once you understand how acid works, you stop cooking flat food and start building depth. Let's start with one of the most common acids, lemon juice. Lemon juice is bright, clean, fresh. It has a sharp acidity, but it feels light. It doesn't overpower. Instead, it lifts everything around it. Add lemon to a dish, and suddenly, the flavors feel clearer, more defined. This is why lemon is often used at the end of cooking, because heat can dull its brightness. But when added fresh, it cuts through richness instantly. Fatty dishes, heavy sauces, grilled meats, a little lemon, and everything feels lighter. Now compare that to lime. At first, it seems similar, also citrus, also acidic. But the moment you taste it, you notice the difference. Lime is sharper, more intense, it hits faster, feels more aggressive, and this is where it becomes powerful, because lime doesn't just balance flavor, it stands out. It adds a distinct edge, which is why it's often used in dishes that need contrast, where you want the acidity to be noticeable. Now, this is where most people don't realize something important. Not all acids behave the same way. Some blend in, some stand out, and choosing the right one changes the entire dish. Now let's move to vinegar. This is where acidity becomes stronger, more direct. Vinegar is not subtle, it's sharp, clear, immediate. And this is why it's so widely used, because it cuts through heaviness instantly. Rich sauces, fried foods, marinades. Vinegar doesn't just add flavor, it resets your palate. It makes each bite feel fresh again. And this is where it gets interesting, because vinegar comes in many forms, each one slightly different. Let's look at apple cider vinegar. Compared to regular vinegar, it's milder, softer. It still has acidity, but it feels more rounded. There's a subtle fruitiness, a slight sweetness, and this makes it more versatile. It blends into dishes more easily, without overpowering them. This is why it's often used in dressings, sauces, light marinades, where you want balance, not sharpness. Now compare that to balsamic vinegar. Completely different experience. Balsamic is rich, dark, slightly sweet. It still has acidity, but it's layered, not sharp like regular vinegar, more smooth, more complex. Because balsamic doesn't just add acidity, it adds depth. It brings sweetness and sharpness together, which makes it perfect for dishes that need contrast, but also richness. Now step back for a moment, because this is where the pattern becomes clear. Acid is not just one flavor, it's a range, from bright and fresh, to sharp and aggressive, to smooth and complex. And this is where everything changes, because now you're not just adding acid, you're choosing a type of acidity. And that choice affects everything. How the dish feels, how the flavors interact, how the final bite is experienced. Now here's something most people don't think about. Acid doesn't just add flavor, it controls flavor. It can reduce sweetness, balance salt, cut through fat. It brings everything into alignment. This is why a dish can have the right ingredients, but still feel wrong. Because without acid, there's no contrast. And without contrast, flavors feel dull. This is where most people get it wrong. They add more salt, more seasoning, more ingredients. But what the dish actually needs is acid, just a small amount, and everything changes. Now here's where it becomes more precise. Timing matters. Adding acid early in cooking changes how it blends. It becomes part of the base. Adding it at the end makes it stand out. And this is a subtle detail, but it makes a big difference. Now think about this in real situation. It's a heavy meal, something rich, something oily. Without acid, it feels overwhelming, but add a small amount and suddenly it feels balanced. You can taste everything more clearly. This is where acid becomes powerful, not because it dominates, but because it reveals. It allows other flavors to stand out. Now here's something deeper. Acid creates contrast, and contrast is what makes food interesting. Without contrast, everything blends together, nothing stands out. And this is why the best dishes almost always have some form of acidity. Even if you don't notice it directly, it's working in the background, balancing everything. Now let's go one layer deeper. Different acids pair better with different foods. Lemon works well with light dishes, seafood, vegetables because it enhances freshness. Lime works well with bold flavors, spicy, dishes, and herbs because it adds intensity. Vinegar works well with rich foods, fried items, fatty meats, because it cuts through heaviness. Balsamic works well with deeper flavors, roasted vegetables, cheese, because it adds complexity. And this is where everything connects. Acid is not just an ingredient, it's a tool, a way to shape how a dish feels. Now imagine cooking without it. Everything would feel flat, heavy, unbalanced, even if technically correct. And this is why understanding acid changes how you cook entirely. You stop adding it randomly and start using it intentionally. You start noticing when something feels off, and instead of adding more ingredients, you adjust balance. Because in the end, great cooking is not about complexity. It's about control. Knowing when something needs more and when it needs contrast. And acid is what creates that contrast. So the next time a dish feels incomplete, don't add more seasoning. Add a little acid and watch everything change.